Hello again. I shared in the last video that I took the mental health first aid course. And after taking the course, I decided to make a poster of what I had learned to put up in my office as a vice principal. And this is the poster. And I called it Caring for Your Brain Health. I listed a bunch of the symptoms that people would be going through when they're under stress or anxiety or depression. Things like feeling stressed out or mind racing, not being able to turn it off, can't get to sleep or can't stay asleep, waking up in the middle of the night, can't get back to sleep, or being so exhausted you're sleeping all the time, missing class, memory problems, heart racing, not wanting to do anything, to go anywhere or see anyone, feeling exhausted all the time, not enjoying activities that used to be fun, having an upset tummy or butterflies in your tummy, and grades dropping and can't concentrate. And if you feel like this for more than 2 weeks and it's hard to work and hard to do schoolwork and hard to enjoy friends and family, then maybe it's time to see a doctor or counselor. Also, half the brain health disorders begin by age 14 and three quarters by 24. And in Canada, 1 in 5 will experience some problem with their health over the course of the year. And this statistic I shared before, 1 in 3 people, which is now 1 in 2, will experience a brain health problem sometime in their lifetime. And the earlier it's detected, the better the treatment and the better the outcome. So going back to this poster, students would come into my office that were not going to school, or their marks were dropping, or they're being sent down for behavior concerns. And I'd ask them to look over and say, are you going through any of these? And for quite a few people, they'd say, yeah, Mr. Riley, all of them. And we'd talk about stress and supports, and they knew I had a background with depression and anxiety too. It was pretty public in the school about it. And we connect them with the child and youth worker to get some strategies to help them, which was awesome. But then there were those few students who'd said, no, Riley, none of those. And I thought, you know what? These are good kids. They're struggling. There's something going on. How can I get them to want to talk to me? And I found out that the safe question is ask them, well, how are you sleeping? Because if you can't get to sleep or can't stay asleep or sleeping all the time, that was a big part of it. And so I'd say, how are you sleeping? And they'd say, I'm sleeping fine. So I said, okay, well, what time to go to bed? Well, I go to bed at 11. Time to get to sleep? I get to sleep at 1. And they just said they're sleeping fine, but it takes them 2 hours to get to sleep. They can't turn their brain off. Or they'd say, I'd ask what time or how do you sleep? They'd say, I sleep fine. But I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I can't get back to sleep. So I found out was their fine was actually their normal. They've been sleeping poorly for so long with whatever stressors were going on in their life that they did have sleep troubles. So after we talked for a little bit, then they came out and would say, yeah, Mr. Riley, actually, I'm going through most of these. I just didn't want to talk to you about it. And then able to help them by connecting with the child and youth worker and get some strategies. So if you don't talk it out, you will act it out, right? Um, I've not met a bad kid in 30 years of education, but I've met lots exhibiting troublesome behaviors. I used to say I met a lot of kids making bad choices, but I don't even think they're choices anymore. They're exhibiting troublesome behaviors, but there's things going on in their life and in their brain that is often causing it, almost always causing it. So if we can get kids and adults comfortable talking about what's going on, then it won't act out consciously or subconsciously, I believe. So mental and physical health are connected. You can see here on the vertical axis is the percent having mood disorders and the percent having diabetes, heart disease, cancer, arthritis, rheumatism, and asthma. So they're quite connected here as opposed to ones with no chronic condition. So there's quite a connection. It makes sense because mental health or brain health, our brain is just a physical part of our body. So it should be connected, you would think. And therapy doesn't have to be all gushy, all feelings and stuff. You don't have to lie across on the psychologist's couch and talk about your childhood. There's lots of strategies out there to help people. So I saw a psychologist and a psychiatrist and a therapist and a counselor, and I call them brain strategists. We have financial strategists. I have a brain strategist that helps me understand how my brain works and how it got stuck. And for me, I did go back through some childhood stuff that, I grew up in a home where my dad was an alcoholic, and I always grew up feeling I wasn't good enough. No matter what I did, it just wasn't good enough. I was the quarterback of the football team. I was on student council. I had a part-time job. And I even had a little brother from Big Brother Association. But no matter what I did, I didn't feel good enough. So the next step we're going to talk about is the response that causes all this anxiety and stress, and it's the fear response. That's all for now.